So our next step in creating this Excel spreadsheet is to enter some numeric values, some currency amounts for the amounts that we're spending for each bill across all the months. So in the prior video, we took a look at entering alpha values or text values, right? We got those as our labels. Now here, inside of this section, in my case, from cell B4, right below January, inside rent, from B4 down to D8, I want to put my dollar amounts inside of there. Okay. So I'm going to jump up into cell B4, and I'm going to make some stuff up here. Feel free, you can copy exactly what I got. Or if you're putting your own bills in there, you're creating your own monthly budget, feel free to put your own amounts, whatever you like to do. The quicker you can put it into real world practice, the better off, right? All right, so inside of B4, I'm going to say 1,000. I'll hit my enter key, drop me down into January for phone. And for phone, let's say it's $100. Credit cards, let's say it's $150. Food, gotta have food, right? $300. Candy, let's say candy is gonna be $100 each month. All right, now I'm gonna jump up. I'm just using my arrow keys here to move me around within this spreadsheet. I'm gonna jump up into C4. Now I'm back to rent, but now for the month of February. Let's say rent doesn't change, so it's now 1,000. I'm going to drop down a cell, hit my enter key. Phone, maybe this month I went over on data, so I got 125. Credit cards, pay those off a little faster, let's say 200. Food, maybe food went down, it is a 275. Candy, $100. All right, back up. Now I'm inside of March. Okay, as of recording right now, it is February of 2019, but I'm going to fill this thing out completely, right? Just to give us some more data to work with. So let's say rent, still 1,000, 1, 2, 3. Phone went back down to 100. Credit cards back to, let's say, let's make this something different, 175. Food went to 350. Candy went up. Gotta have a candy, man, gotta have a candy. 125. All right, that's looking pretty good. So now we've got our labels, right? All these guys right here are labels for our spreadsheet. And we've got our dollar amounts, our currency values representing the amount that we're spending for each bill for each of these months. Now, there's something I want to point out here. This is something small, but it's actually pretty big. Okay? There's a difference between the text values, these guys that we entered in, and the numeric values that we just input. Like I said, it's going to be actually something kind of small, but it can make a big impact inside of your spreadsheet and inside your work, especially when you start getting into calculations. All right, so take a look at them. Compare these labels right here with the dollar amounts, the numeric values that you just input below those headers. See it? There's something different about those two. I know one's numeric and one's text, one's alpha, but there's even something else different between the two, right? Well, look at the months. The months, these are left aligned. So it deals with their formatting. By default, text values come in left aligned on the cell. You see it? Numeric values, on the other hand, come in right aligned. These are all on the right-hand side of the cell, right? Look at all those. I could draw arrows. All right, left aligned for text, right aligned for numbers. Now, why does this happen? And this happens not just in Excel, it's not specific to Excel, but this happens in lots of different applications, a majority of them, in fact. Well, it happens for a couple of reasons. One, it's cleaner. You'll see the difference between the two. I know that this is text because it's left aligned. This is numeric because it's right aligned. That's its default behavior. If we start introducing decimal places inside of our numeric values, those decimals will be nice and aligned. Let me show you. Let's say I get into B4. We got rent there for 1,000. I'm going to double click inside of that cell, and I'm going to say 0.55. Our rent is $1,000, 55 cents. I don't know where that 55 cents is going to, but there it is. I'm going to hit my enter key. I'm going to drop down the phone and we'll say this is $100.25. Hit my enter key. Now, because the numbers are right aligned, that decimal is nice and clean, right? Nice line going down through our numeric values, nice and clean. If they were left aligned, that would be all over the place. Let me just grab those two cells. I'm going to go to my Home tab. Underneath my Home tab, I've got an alignment section, and I'm going to tell them to be left aligned. And you're going to see our decimal place kind of go like this, kind of do the wave. So let me hit the left align button there. And there's our decimals, still numeric, right? But if we look at that now, that decimal is no longer straight. It's no longer clean. If I had more decimals, that thing could be doing the wave all the way down, right? Just want to look very clean. So let me undo that. I'm going to Control Z on my keyboard. Love that undo. Right there, Control Z, Z like zebra. All right, I don't want the decimal, so I'm going to keep hitting Control Z. Let's get back to just 1,000 and 100. All right, so there's one reason. Okay, it's cleaner. It distinguishes itself between that data and the data below. Looks nice and clean. Okay. Now, if you ever import data or copy paste data from some other system, whatever it is, into an Excel document, and you see your numeric values are actually left aligned, so they look like this, all over here on the left-hand side, typically you will then get a little green, let's change my color here, let's say green. You get a little green kind of triangle looking thing inside the corner of that cell. And you'll get that across all of them. Okay? If you ever see that, or if you've ever seen that, some of you maybe seen that before, that means Excel is looking at that and saying, hey, something's wrong. There's something wrong with those values. And typically, when you see your numbers left aligned, Excel is treating those values as text. They're not being treated as numbers. So what can you do? Well, if that happens to you, you can click into one of those cells. You get that little triangle in the corner. You get a little box. And when you click the box, it'll come up with some options. And one of them will be convert to numbers. And you do it right there. And it'll right align them, put them back to where they belong, and you're good to go. All right. So I just want to point that out. Again, it's something small, just a difference between how they're aligned, but it can be a much larger impact. Decimals, nice and aligned, right? We don't want that wave going through our document. And it can potentially screw up some formulas. When you're trying to do mathematical type operators, we don't want to work with text. We want to work with numbers. All right. And if it ever happens to you, it's a quick fix. You can click on the little box that shows up next to that green triangle. I don't have it on my screen right now, but maybe we'll see it at some point, and you can just convert it to number. All right. So get these in there. Really simple. Got our labels, got our numbers in there. We'll call it good. Get those in there, then we'll jump to the next lecture, and we'll start to expand some more inside of this Excel spreadsheet.